Hey everybody, we just got back from the New England Model Train Expo in Marlborough, Massachusetts, and we bought a few things there that we wanted to show you. If you wanted to check out the train show itself, we posted a video called the New England Model Train Expo Sight and Sound, so you can check that out to see what the show was like. But yeah, so we bought a few things at the show, and we thought that we would take a couple minutes here and show you what we bought. Okay, so first up is this LGB starter set that we bought from one of the vendors there. So what we were really looking for was the little Staines style engine that comes with a lot of these LGB starter sets. This set here was, what the vendor told us was this starter set was brand new and hadn't been used before, but they did take the track and the transformer out of it and sold that separately. So what's left in the set is the Staines engine and 2 work cars, and then also the wires that you attach to your G-scale track, which I think comes with most sets. So we wanted the engine because we have these little Disney coaches that we bought on Mercari that we use for, that we use on the Garden Railroad. And we wanted an engine kind of proportional to those cars to pull those around. And so we've been kind of looking for that, again, that Staines engine to do that job. So anyway, at the train show, we found a vendor that had actually 2 of those Staines engines. One was part of this set, and then one they were selling. It was just a used one that was just out in their display. And that used one was about $80, I think, that she would give it to us for. But it had a couple of pieces missing, and it looked a little scuffed up. And so then she said she had this brand new set with these pieces missing, the track and the transformer. So we took her word that the engine is brand new. We're not 100% sure. It looks like it might have been run on the track, but so be it. We paid $130 for this. And we really don't need anything but the engine, like I said. But the cars will be kind of a bonus. Little couple work cars there. You got the crane, and then the flat car or the low-sided gondola with the little pickup truck in it. So we'll use those somehow. But we were more after the engine. And these engines seem to go for, I don't know, about $330 brand new on the various websites. So we thought $130 to get the engine was probably not a bad price. You know, we're not toy dealers or negotiators or anything like that. So when we go to these places, we, pretty much try to take the people's word for it. We try to get the lowest price they're willing to, give it away for or sell it for. And then if we feel like we're not getting ripped off, we'll go ahead and buy it. So we may have not got a super great deal on it, but anyway, it's an engine we were looking for. Price seemed right, so we went ahead and bought it. So let's unbox it and see what we got. Okay, as we look in the box, as you can see, there's nothing in the track section, nothing in the transformer section, but it did come with the track connection wires, and it did come with some smoke fluid and looks like a brochure or whatever for the for that crane car that's right here. All right, well, let's take it out of the box and we'll take a look at it. All right, so that's what we got for our $130. Let's throw the three cars up on the turntable and let's just take a closer look at them. We won't be able to take them for a first run. It's December now, and our Garden Railroad has been kind of taken down and decommissioned for the winter. But we'll take these out as soon as it gets warm, and you'll see them eventually on the railroad. Okay, so the first thing we'll take a look at here is the low-sided gondola with the pickup truck in the back, or the utility truck. And this car is about 12.5 inches long. It's completely plastic construction, as it is a starter set. We have kind of a brown-orange body here for the gondola with some, markings on it for that, to add some realism to it. The detail's not bad. Everything's kind of molded into the plastic, like these tie-down loops, things like that, and the bracing and the bolt heads and all that. So it looks pretty good. Those are single-axle trucks on the bottom, and those also have a fair amount of detail down here on the bottom, which is nice. As we move around, the back of the car has some footsteps, a little black ironwork back here. With the LGB, they have the hook and loop couplers, but they only have the hook at one end. So this one here, you'll see, does not have a hook on this hook and loop coupler. And so the idea with this is that the end, the car with the hook attaches to the end of the car with just the loop, and so on and so forth. We've changed couplers on cars quite a bit, and I would typically put the the hook and loop on both ends when I have if I change couplers out to a hook and loop. And we typically use hook and loop rather than knuckle couplers because most of our cars came with hook and loop, and so we just kind of went with that. So if we have any coupler incompatibilities, we have a tendency to change the knuckler coupler out for the hook and loop coupler because that's what we have the most of. As we continue around, same detail on the other side. Again, mirror image. A lot of markings on the car side, on the gondola side here. All kind of stamped or molded into the plastic. There's no detail that's like been attached here. And as we continue around, so here, if the light allows, you'll see the hook and loop coupler. This end has the hook on it. Both ends have a little buffer there. Again, footsteps and some air lines there. Then as we bring it around full circle, the little truck comes out, obviously. The truck is more like is kind of more toy quality, I suppose. I suppose the whole set is really kind of toy quality, but it does have a decent amount of detail. So we'll find a use for this out on the railroad. Sometimes I use the gondolas, these low-sided gondolas, to actually hold our camera mounts, that are mounted to wood, and that wood fits right in the bed of the flatbed of the gondola. So I don't know if the mounts we have will fit this particular car. We actually have it sized up to another LGB low-sided gondola, but we'll see if it fits in here. Let's just take a quick look inside. So yeah, so inside, the planking detail is in there. There's not so much detail on the inside walls. It's more just the floor. And if we take a look underneath, so we have here, here's like in the single axle trucks, couplers down here. It's got some pretty good detail underneath. You get some mechanisms here that are kind of molded into the plastic. Got a lot of planking here and some ironwork and so forth. So it looks pretty good. We'll find a use for this out on the Garden Railroad. I don't think we'll find much use for the little plastic truck, but we'll find a use for the car. All right, let's give it one more quick spin. Okay, there you have it. Okay, next up is the crane car that came with the set. And as you can see, the body is yellow. It's got some nice caution tape here. It's got some pretty good, or caution markings here. It's got some pretty good detail on it. It has some specifications, probably, you know, weights and lengths and things like that of the crane, and tolerances, and some graph here. So it does have some fairly realistic looking markings. It has, for detail, the little compartment on the side will open up. And it's got a little latch on it, and a little overlapping piece there too. So that looks pretty good. It's Matra is the name of the crane company, I think. Okay, let's give it a turn. Okay, so on this end here, we have the hook and loop coupler with the actual hook here, a single buffer, airline, again, some ironwork there that's kind of simulated along the bottom. And as you can see, the crane boom kind of hangs over. And then the crane has a little hook on it that's attached to some string that will, you know, crank up and down. All right, let's give it a turn. Okay, same thing over here. This is almost a mirror image of the other side. We have, again, a functioning cabinet here that will, or a storage compartment here that will open up. So it's kind of cool. One difference on this side of the crane here is that there's a little seat and some operating controls for the crane, so they get that little detail there. There's a component here marked diesel, which I assume must be the, you know, the engine that, you know, drives the hydraulics and all that stuff on this. So yeah, not bad detail. And as we continue around, on this end we have just the loop coupler. Again, on the LGBs, they have the hook is only on one end and just a loop on the other end. Airline, buffer, again, black kind of framework here. And then here's the back of the crane as far as the mechanics go. So how this crane works is it's kind of locked into place with this little latching thing here, and then you pull it up, and that's how the crane raises. You see that on the side there. And then it locks into place with this little black lever. I think it'll go down one more. One more. So if we turn it to the side so you can see the height. Let's give you a better shot there. And then the crank here is what cranks the, you know, it'll rotate. And then here the crank will, it'll drop the hook. Of course, it takes two of us to operate it. It kind of locks on this side. Yeah. The crank here has a little locking mechanism on this side. Here, let's show you that. That you push in, and then that releases the crank so you can wind the hook up and down. Okay, and to lower it, just release that, and just lock it back down into place. All right, let's give it one more spin. And that's the crane. Now we've actually been looking for a crane. One of our themes of one of our trains is kind of a logging theme. And I've been looking for a crane car that, to go along with that. We've been looking at the USA Trains has a 2-piece crane car with a 25-ton crane and then a crane tender to go with it. And I've been keeping my eyes open for that set, that crane pair of cars, but for a good price. And I just haven't seen it yet. I always find that it seems a little overpriced, and I think they stopped manufacturing it. So until we get that style of crane, maybe this crane here will do for our logging train. Although this is a little modern looking for what we were looking for. We were looking for something a little, a little older looking. But yeah, it'll do in a pinch. Okay, so the last part of the set is the little steam locomotive here. This would be the Staines style that you see from LGB. It's just a small four-wheeled locomotive, so an 040 in steam locomotive vernacular. How long is it?
10 inches.
Yeah, it's about 10 inches long for length. It's got a great amount of detail here. You can see, that the paint scheme is like green cab, red, kind of framework down there, and then black boiler and all black steam fittings. It's got some simulated brass work here with the whistle and a couple of valves here right on the side. This is all plastic construction, except for there's some metal work down here with the linkage, the drive linkage down here, and the wheels, obviously a metal, because it's a Garden Railroad engine. So, yeah, the linkage is actually quite detailed. There's lots of connecting parts here, so I'm really looking forward to getting that out onto the Garden Railroad and see what it looks like. But yeah, lots of simulated bolt heads. You get your LGB badging here. It's engine number 3. There's some tag up here that we'll take a look at. You got some nice raised handles here to step up into the cab. You've got a driver. The used one that the same vendor had that we were looking at actually didn't have a driver, and there were a couple of other pieces missing off of it. So that was another reason why we went with this. I'm still not 100% convinced this is brand new, never been run, but yeah, we'll go with it. So let's give it a turn. Okay, as we continue around, here's the back of the cab. We got some windows here, plastic windows. We have an operating lamp in the back. We have, again, lots of simulated bolt work here. The paint scheme carries from the cab down here to the red framing and decking of the locomotive. We have a single buffer in the center and then a hook and loop coupler. As we continue to turn. This side here, pretty much a mirror image of the opposite side. So we have the nice linkage here, metal wheels, step up into the cab. I'm sure that's on the other side. And it looks like we've got a fair amount of detail on the inside of the cabin as well. I can see some planking flooring here. There are some mechanics along the back wall. So yeah, not bad looking. Just seeing if there's any other small details on this side that we're missing. Again, a lot of pipe work, raised pipe work. Little compartment there, a door. That door does not function, I don't think. Yeah, that's a non-functioning door. Got a little piece of masking tape with some writing on it we'll have to take off at some point. All right, let's give it a turn. Okay, looking at the front, we have, again, some more brass work here right in the center of the boiler. We have a buffer up front with a little gray trim around it. It looks like there's some little plow work here to potentially, I assume, clear debris, snow off the track as the train is moving forward. We got the red framework and decking. For lack of a better term on this train here, this is the frame that everything sits on, boiler and so forth. We got a functioning headlight. Now, the train show that we were at, the New England Model Train Expo, they actually had a couple stations where if you were buying something used, you could test out the locomotives or any other kind of lighted, functional rolling stock or locomotive, and you could test it on the track. And so we did test this, and it does work, and all the lights work. And then the other purchases we made, we tested those as well. So, yeah, it's nice to be able to walk away knowing at least it works. How long it'll last, that's a different story. Yeah, so here's the smokestack here with the grating on the top that you can put your smoke fluid drops down there. Again, a lot of raised detail on here, like this pipe work here. This pipe work here, if you can see that, looks really nice. So we continue around. Oh, before we continue around, yeah, just over here we've got some windows here with those are plastic windows right in the front of the cab there, and you might be able to see the driver right through there. Okay, let's turn. Okay, so we're back where we started. The other little detail I wanted to mention was that there's these little coal hoppers, or these little coal containers here on either side. On this side here, there's a detail where the coal hopper is open, to expose the coal. On the other side, it's closed. And then one other detail that's different on this side is this little funnel functioning thing here. I'm not sure exactly what that is on a real locomotive, but it's on this locomotive, and it's a little bit different on the other side than this side. So these sides aren't mirror images of each other. There are a few differences between them. All right, let's take a look at the top. Okay, just wanted to give you a view from the top looking down. You can see there's a little vent hood up here on the cab. There's lots of nice simulated ironwork up here on the roof with some bracing or strapping and simulated bolt heads. Pretty good looking. This is just a piece of masking tape we'll have to take off. And then down here you can see the difference. The coal hopper on the right side is shut, and the coal hopper on the left side is open. And then if you're looking straight down, you can see the little top of the funnel on this side, and then there's another piece of mechanics over here that's different than that side. So it's not quite a mirror image of this. And then if you look straight down, you can see the linkage and so forth. Yep, so that's the top, and let's take a look at the bottom. Okay, so here's a look at the bottom. There's not a lot of realism detail down here, but we do have the LGB logoing down here, part number here. Yeah, just some of the things, contacts, track contacts here, metal wheels. One thing that's interesting down here is that there's a traction tire only on this tire here, on this wheel here. There isn't one on its opposite side. And at first I thought that maybe it was missing a traction tire, but there's a little groove on this wheel here that the traction tire sits in, and that groove isn't on this wheel here. So I assume the traction tire is only supposed to be on one side. At least I hope that's the case. And then we've got some linkage down here. You can see here it's got very layered. There's like 3 layers of linkage. But yeah, that's the bottom. Again, not a whole lot to see, but definitely want to give you a look at it just so that you have a thorough visual inspection of this locomotive. All right, so let's give it one more spin. All right, so there it is. There's the little Staines 040 locomotive that came with our starter set, LGB. And yeah, I'm not 100% convinced, like I said, that it's brand new, like the woman had told us. But you know, if it runs and it lasts a long time for $130, I'm certainly not going to feel ripped off, and we'll be satisfied. All the parts are on it, and it looks in pretty decent shape. So yeah, so there you go. All right, hey guys, so we put a couple of pieces of G-Track together here, and we're just going to go ahead and give our new Staines locomotive a quick test here. Seems to be working okay. Sounds great. Sounds smooth. Just give it a couple back and forths. As you can see, the rear light works. Yeah, okay, so both the rear and the front lamps work. It's moving back and forth pretty well, nice and smooth, no rattles. Yeah, so I think we're going to be pretty happy with this. Okay, so for our next set of purchases from the New England Model Train Expo, we went with HO scale. And so what we ended up buying was these F7 A and B unit locomotives. And one of them is Santa Fe, and the other one is Union Pacific. And then we also ended up finding these Union Pacific coaches from Bachmann. The locomotives themselves are Athearn, I think is how you would pronounce that. Athearn. The boxes look a little old, but anyway, we ended up picking up the F7 A and B units for $40 for the pair, for both of them. So $80 in total. $40 for the Santa Fe AB unit, and another $40 for the Santa Fe AB unit. And then the Bachmann coaches, I believe we paid $100 for the pair. So anyway, then those are Union Pacific coaches, if I didn't mention it. So we'll take those out of the package and we'll show them to you. So yeah. Okay, so let's take them out of the boxes and see what we got. So they were wrapped in paper towel, which I guess shows you how old they are. So there's the Santa Fe F7A unit there. We'll pop them on the turntable and take a closer look at them. We probably won't keep these in the boxes. We have storage cabinets that we put our stock in, our locomotives in stock. Okay, and there is the B unit for the Santa Fe. So I didn't really see anything that was functional that was as cheap as $40. So the price really kind of grabbed me. And then, like I said, they have testing tracks there. So we took them over on the testing track and they ran pretty good. There's the Union Pacific F7A unit. And they ran, so we went ahead and made the purchase. So I don't know how long they'll last. You're kind of at the mercy of what they tell you at the shows, so you just kind of take your chance and go. There's the Union Pacific B unit, F7B unit. We weren't intending to buy coaches for these, but we stumbled across these Union Pacific coaches. They get the same paint scheme, obviously, as the F7AB unit, and so we really couldn't resist buying them. So, like I said, who knows how long this stuff is going to last for, or what condition it truly is in. But we'll have fun with them for a bit. I think this set, not the coaches, but I think the engines were being sold by somebody who was just trying to liquidate a big collection. So anyway, yeah, those are good looking coaches there. They're 3 wheels, 3 axles on each truck. So let's just kind of get over here and get a better look. Like I said, we'll throw these on the turntable and we'll get an individual look at each one. But yeah, so $40 for Santa Fe AB, $40 for Union Pacific AB, and then $100 for the coach pair. So, all right, let's put them on the turntable, see what we got. Okay, so first up is the Santa Fe F7 AB unit here. We'll take a look at, we'll separate them and take a look at the backs and bottoms and so forth. But I believe that this is the war bonnet paint scheme. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so pretty good detail on the side. We have dual axle trucks here. Everything's pretty much silver, painted silver. I suppose that would be like aircraft aluminum if that were a real locomotive. It has knuckle couplers on either end. It's got pretty good detail. It does look, it looks its age. I'm not sure. The man who sold them to us was actually selling them for a friend, according to the story. So he wasn't quite sure how old they were, but he did think that they were kind of old. So, like I said, they looked really good to us, and the price was right. So we thought we'd pick them up. But anyway, let's give it a spin. Yep, so looking from the front, we have the Santa Fe markings up front. We have a couple of headlights. Those are functional, and when we tested them, they tested fine. They worked okay. There is no glass in the there's no windshield. There's no glass or plastic windshield there. But again, that maybe it was like that when they were new. Not sure. And then we've got the horns on the top. So the paint job for its age, I think, is in pretty good condition. There's no chips or anything. Maybe it's a little faded, but it looks pretty good. So let's continue to turn. Pretty much a mirror image of the other side, so we won't spend too much time on this. But just to give you a look here, we get some ladder detailing, portholes on the side here for, again, lack of a better term. There might be a technical term for that. Again, lots of like ladder, footholds, doors, vent work. That's detail that's molded into the plastic. So let's continue around. So on the rear here, again, knuckle couplers. We have a door here. There isn't a formal diaphragm on here, but there's kind of a there's kind of a hint of a diaphragm there. And then we've got some kind of back, detailing here on the back of the car, or the back of the B unit. Let's take the B unit off, and we'll show the back of the Yeah, this is the back of the A unit. It looks a lot like the back of the B unit, really. But again, just want to be thorough in our presentation here. Got a door with some pretty decent detail on it. No glass or plastic or whatever in there. And then there's some, again, just some detailing here. Knuckle coupler. Yeah, so there's that. Well, we have the A unit here. Why don't we show the top and bottom of that? Okay, so on the top of the A unit, we've got lots of simulated bolt heads and things like that. So there's a decent amount of detail up here. There's some, mechanical stuff up here on some kind of a plate sitting up here that's bolted to the roof. You can see the nice paint job here, the red with the black and yellow pinstriping or striping, and then you get a little bit of yellow across the nose there. Why don't you make sure your hand is on the opposite side of that. And then we have the two black horns on the top and some vent work right down the kind of the spine of the roof there. Okay, let's turn it over. Take a look at the bottom. Yeah, so this is the bottom. So I'm not really super familiar with this brand. There's really almost no markings on it. It's crazy. So there's just, you can see here the double axle trucks here on both ends, metal wheels. They look like they've got a little bit of wear to them. So we'll have to go cautiously with this one. And again, we'll see how long it lasts for. But yeah, there's really not a ton of detail, and there's really not a lot of manufacturing, markings on here either. So anyway, let's take a look at the top and bottom of the B unit. Okay, so the top of the B unit, a lot of the same type of thing. There's these little like panels up here on the top that are outlined with some, fake imitation bolt heads, bolt work and rivet work. Again, we've got the 5 vents across the top, and there's a few more mechanics here on the top of this panel. But yeah, pretty good detail, silver roof. And except for it was painted on the A unit, that was also a silver roof. Again, hypothetically, that's aircraft aluminum on the real thing. These B units are not powered, so this is completely hollow in here, as you can see. There's a little hint of a part number here on this. So there are, again, 2 axle trucks on either end. Those wheels, I believe, are metal. I think they're metal. But again, not a powered unit, so there's no contact or anything like that for the track. There's no contact concerns. But yeah, that's the bottom. All right, let's give it one more spin. All right, let's give it one more spin. The A unit and the B unit together are about a little over 15 inches long. All right, and that is the Santa Fe F7 A and B unit in HO scale by Athearn. Okay, so next up is the Union Pacific Athearn F7 AB unit in HO scale. So we bought these from the same guy. We bought them both together, both the Santa Fe and the Union Pacific together from the same guy. So these, both of these AB units are identical. So we won't go into the same detail as far as looking at the tops and the bottoms and so forth. It's going to be the exact same thing, just except for the color scheme. So this is Union Pacific in its very familiar kind of yellow, red, and gray color scheme. These are really good looking engines. We really like the F-style diesels. If you saw our video that we did a while back, it's G-scale, USA Trains, F3 Boston and Maine AB unit. Really impressive. They're just such great looking engines or locomotives. Yeah, so let's give it a spin. It's the same length, by the way. AB units a tick over 15 inches long together. If we look at the front, we've got the nice wings and the Union Pacific logo right up front there, the shield. Very nice looking. Let's just zoom in on that real quick. Yeah, very cool. The 2 functioning headlights. Again, no glass. Not that level of detail, I guess. Hook and loop couplers. The roof color here is gray, not aircraft aluminum or silver like the Santa Fe. Okay, there's the other side, pretty much a mirror image of the other side. In the back, again, the same detail as the Santa Fe. Again, the only difference between these trains is the paint job. And we can just take a quick look at the back of the A unit. Again, kind of a hint of a diaphragm, but not a real rubber diaphragm like you might see on the larger scales, or the scales of higher quality, maybe even an HO. Okay. Gray paint scheme, same details, raised bolts, these panels here, the vent work coming out of the roof. Okay, let's take a quick look at the bottom. So again, not a ton of detail down here. There's a part number there on the bottom, but that's really the only markings that, like manufacturer markings, that that we can see. So, okay. And there's the B unit, gray roof. Again, the same configuration. Got the panels up here that are bolted or riveted to the roof. Some mechanics, vent work. Very nice. All right. Cool little detail here on the side here is that the unit numbers here, 1467 and 1467. This 1467 has a little B next to it, indicating obviously that it's the B unit. So small little detail. But let's give it a spin. And there's the Athearn HO scale Union Pacific F7 AB unit. Okay, so next up is the Bachmann Union Pacific heavyweight 72-foot coach with lighted interior. These we picked up once we picked up the locomotive for Union Pacific. We saw this; it was the same paint scheme, which you would expect, but we just couldn't resist picking them up. So the Union Pacific locomotive has something to haul around the layout. This is a really nice looking coach. It actually has 3 axles on each truck. You got some silver detailing down here. It's got the typical paint scheme that will match the locomotive, the yellow with the red, Union Pacific, and kind of block lettering there. There is a lot of detail inside the coach. Maybe we can get close enough to see all that. But you can see, the nice window configuration here. There's some mechanics here on the bottom. Step up into the door. These doors here aren't functional. But they have the outline detail and everything like that, so it looks really great. So let's give it a spin. Okay, here we have a little bit more of a detail on the diaphragm. The diaphragm is plastic, but it's black as compared to contrasting with the gray end of the coach itself. The door is black. Knuckle couplers. You can see the little the footstep, the ladder detail here, just under the door, which is at the corner on the side. Let's continue to turn. This side here is a mirror image of the opposite. I think maybe the mechanics at the bottom might be a little bit different, but essentially it's got the same view, door at each end, square windows along the side, and the car number here is 1115. And on this end here, almost a mirror image. We get some detailing here. The one big difference is just the brake wheel there on the end of the carriage. All right. Okay, let's take a quick look at the roof here. Gray roof. The construction is all plastic, by the way. And we've got nothing really remarkable about this. It's got kind of the raised ridge in the middle, and then you've got where the roof makes contact with the sides is a little bit lower here, and then we've got some vent work right down the the back of the roof, right around the center line. Okay, let's give it a quick flip. Yeah, so the bottom here has got some pretty decent detail here. We have metal wheels. These coaches are supposed to be lighted. These we didn't test. So hopefully when we get them on the layout, the coaches will light up. But the box says that they're lighted. But here we've got, again, the 3 axle trucks on either end. We've got the black, flooring on the bottom, and then some gray mechanical work on the bottom, so it stands out really nice. We got a part number there, and although I can't see it with my light of my angle here, the Bachmann company logo should be there somewhere. Maybe not. But anyway, yeah. So that's the coach. There's quite a bit of detail inside the coach. If you can look through the windows there, you can see that there's seating inside the coach, and I think that's going to be. Let's give that a turn and see. Yeah, these aren't like the British Mark I that has like the cabins inside with the hallway running the length of the car on one side. This is all just seating inside. So, all right, let's give it one more spin. Okay, so lastly, we have the 72-foot combine coach here. This is a little bit different than the coach that we just showed you. This is a combine coach, so you can see there's seating in the front half, and then it's kind of storage or kind of utilitarian space to the rear. How long did you say these were, Evan?
About like 12 inches.
Yeah, so while these are supposed to replicate, 72-foot coaches, in reality they're 12 inches long here as HO scale. So yeah, so the paint scheme is the same as the last car here. You get the yellow, the red, striping with the Union Pacific block lettering. This one is marked 2512 as the car number. We have the silver trucks down here. These are 3-axle trucks down at the bottom, and we have some mechanical work down here as well. We have the passenger door on one end, but we have a sliding door, and that sliding door operates on the other side. So that opens and shuts. And then you've got the interior. You can see the seating in there. And again, these are supposed to be lighted coaches. These are actually, I didn't notice right up front, but these are Bachmann Silver Series. So I'm not sure what that means as far as a trim level, so to speak, for Bachmann coaches. But anyway, yeah, Silver Series. So let's give it a spin. Okay, again, similar to the other coach, we have the diaphragm is in black plastic, black door, contrasted against the rest of the end of the coach, which is in gray. Knuckle couplers and little ladders for the passengers to get in and out of the coach. And here, as you can see, we have the operating door on this side. This is pretty much a mirror image of the other side. Got the passenger door up front here. Windows for the passenger section, and then the storage section, or otherwise utilitarian section down there. Let's continue around. Yeah, so the same with the other coach here. The only difference down in this end that keeps it from being a mirror image of the other one is that we have the brake wheel detail here which is kind of nice. Okay, and then we have the final side there. Okay, so taking a look at the top here, again, it's gray plastic. We have, this is the storage utilitarian area here, so we don't really have any vent work down here, but down at this end, which is the passenger end, we have 5 vents there for air circulation, I imagine. Let's take a look at the bottom. Yeah, same as the last coach here. We have, again, metal wheels. Because this is lighted, that's, the contact is probably made through the metal wheels here. 3-axle trucks, and then again, the mechanics down here are gray and contrast nicely with the bottom floor, which is black. So yeah, good detail. Let's give it one more spin. Okay, so there you have it. That is our haul from the New England Model Railroad Expo that was held in Marlborough, Massachusetts. We're going to take the HO scale F7s and those coaches, and we'll take them for a ride around the layout right now. Interesting thing as we're doing our test run here is that both locomotives run pretty well by themselves with no coaches on the back. The Union Pacific, actually, when you put some weight on it, like the 2 coaches that we bought, it just bogs right down. So it looks like there might be some kind of a power issue, so we'll take a look at that. So we can't run the Union Pacific with the coaches right now, simply because while it looks like it's running fine on its own, like I said, the second you put some weight on it, it just bogs right down to the point where it almost won't move. So we'll open that up and we'll take a look at the electrical components in there and see if there's something we can't do to resolve that. The Santa Fe runs great. You can see that's zipping right along, but we're having a coupler height incompatibility issue between the new Bachmann coaches and the coupler on the back of the B unit on the Santa Fe. So we can't even run the Bachmann coaches on the Santa Fe unit. So Union Pacific won't pull them, and we can't attach them to the Santa Fe. So we'll have to work at that. But yeah, so it'll be fun to dig into that Union Pacific and see if we can't get that to run better. So we'll take a couple more looks at these trains going around. I think they look fantastic still, even though Union Pacific doesn't run the best and the Santa Fe's having a coupler height issue. So yeah, so we'll take another look, and then what we'll do is we'll try another one of our engines and put the Union Pacific coaches on that and see if it'll pull them, so that you can at least get a look at the coaches. Okay, just so that you can see the Bachmann coaches in action, we have our Alaskan Railroad diesel pulling those. Everything, all the couplers line up nice on this setup here, so you should get a good view here. Now, if you look down into the coaches as they go by, you should notice that the interior lighting works on them just fine, so that works great. I don't know if the camera picked up on it or if it's going slow enough for that, but yeah, the interior lighting looks great.